Today's topic is functional specification. After understanding the concepts of RISE-FW, how we work with the ABAP, now we are going to write the functional specifications. Remember, whenever you come across any gap, that gap will go through the gap analysis and fitment activity. And part of this gap analysis and fitment activity, we are creating three important documents. The first one is FRD, the second one is FSD, and the third one is ESD, right? Specification primarily comes into picture when you are doing the gap fitment or you are doing the ABAP development. And part of any gap, you do gap fitment or gap analysis and fitment, and then you do the ABAP development activities based on the fitment, right? So when it comes to ABAP development, there are three documents we are creating. Primarily, first one is FRD, which is called Functional Requirement Document. Then second one is Functional Specification Design, which is called FSD. And the third one is Technical Specification Design, which is called TSD. This background already we have written. Again, we'll write, right? So remember, as a functional consultant, you are not going to do any kind of ABAP development, but you are the main point of contact for any kind of development in system. You are not doing it directly, but you are helping the ABAPer to do the ABAP development activities. Until and unless you help the ABAPer, you give them the information, you give them the functional requirement, you give them the specification, they cannot do anything. That is why your role is very important when it comes to writing the specification designs, right, for the respective gaps. And remember, for every solution, let's say your SD solution, in an ideal scenario, there can be 15 to 20 gaps. And all these 15-20 gaps needs to be filled through the ABAP development activities by the ABAPer. And for each scenario, for each gap, you have to write the functional specification by getting the functional requirement from your client. First is you create FRD document. This is something done by the functional consultant. Based on the FRD document, you will create the functional specification. And based on this functional specification, the ABAPer will create the technical specification. And only when the functional specification and technical specification is reviewed and signed, then only the development will start. The development can be a report development, the RISE concept again. The development can be interface. The development can be conversion. The development can be enhancement. The development can be forms. The development can be workflow also. These are the different categories of ABAP development you have. And no matter what category it is, your job is to understand the requirement, write the specification, send the specification to the ABAPer, discuss with them what you are expecting, let them do the development. Once the development is over, you have to test it. That is called testing. You have to personally test it, whether the functionality that you are expecting or you are supposed to develop, that has been developed or not. And that is what the background of functional specification. So part of this, just start writing. In the process of requirement gathering, we have come across multiple gaps, and for all those gaps, or for all those gaps, okay, we do gap analysis and come up with solution how to fill the gap. Specifically in SAP system, the gaps are filled through ABAP development activities done by the ABAPer. As a functional consultant, our key role is to understand the gap and the requirement for the development from the client. Okay. For every gap, we create 3 documents. First is FRD, which is functional requirement document. Already we have written, but for right timing, write down this. Next is FSD, functional specification design. Then TSD, technical specification design. FRD in bracket created by the functional consultant after understanding the requirement from the client. FSD again created by, you can write written by the functional consultant based on the functional requirement mentioned in FRD. Technical specification written by the ABAP consultant based on the functional specification design created by the written by the ABAP consultant based on the functional specification design submitted by the functional